Good afternoon, everybody, as we get underway with the third race of the EUROCUP-3 season here at the Motorland Aragon. And it is a good getaway from the Campos cars on the front rows. They turn through the first turn. We've got 30 minutes plus one lap to play with here on a beautiful day just outside of Alcaniz, where we had the tyre driver Tassanapol in Trafuzak, who took pole position ahead of his teammate Esteban Masson. Sebastian Ogaard in third on the grid from Brunel Del Pino, and then Javier Sagrera and championship leader Francesco Baschi lining up in sixth as they stream their way through the first lap of the race. Everybody cleanly through the first couple of corners and then heading on down the hill, twisting through turns 8 and 9 and the swoop through turn 10. So far, reasonably orderly through the first lap, and much as they qualified through the first sector, but it was very, very close in qualifying earlier on today. The top six covered by under 0.4 of a second as they swoop through the chicane and towards the back straight. This Motorland Aragon circuit opened in 2009, hosting the World Series by Renault. Since then, has hosted a variety of 2- and 4-wheel motorsport as Trafuzak makes just a little bit of a weave down the back straight. These EuroCup-3 cars, this is their second event of their inaugural season. They kicked off in Spa a couple of weeks ago. There's a move further back, and that is Suleiman Zamfari looking to make a move to the inside of William Karlsson, and is able to dart through at the hairpin. Karlsson looks to fight back as they power on uphill through to complete the first lap of the race. It's 30 minutes plus 1 lap timed race, and the advantage at the front just shy of 0.7 of a second. Sebastian Ogaard a little bit further back as jostling for position further behind. These cars based on an upgraded version of the Formula Regional category, and so the car's a little bit lighter, updated body kit, running on Hankook tyres, giving a very, very strong package for the drivers. And the ethos behind the category is to keep it affordable for competitors, and it's effectively controlled and run by the teams as well. So really good paddock atmosphere and setting up very nicely for strong competition. As at the front of the pack, Tassanapol in Trafuzak beginning to open up a little bit of daylight between himself and teammate Esteban Masson, and then Sebastian Ogaard in third position. And all of these drivers, they had mixed weekends at Spa, the opening race of the season. Esteban Masson a 6th and a 7th place. In Trafuzak a 10th and a 5th coming in to Motorland Aragon, and Sebastian Ogaard a 5th and an 8th position. So all looking for their opening podium of the campaign. As the field filed down the back straight once more. Qualifying was, as mentioned earlier, very, very competitive. The entire field covered by just over 1.1 second, and that means that so they're looking. I think that is Pingasov looking to find a way past Nick Gilks without any joy, as the leading duo stream through, and perhaps unsurprisingly, Tassanapol in Trafuzak is stretching away a little bit from Esteban Masson. Sebastian Ogaard a similar distance back in third, and then just under a second back to Javier Sagrera, who did score a podium in Spa, third place in the second race. In 5th position, we have got Brunel Del Pino, who had a much more disappointing time in Spain. Here's another look at the start, and really the perfect conversion from pole, just getting the jump on Masson, moving across on that short sprint towards the first turn to cover the line. And no way through, but there's still a lot of racing to be done. It's 27 degrees here in Alcaniz, so conserving the Hankook tyres may come into play a little bit later on. So we'll wind through turn 10. out into the second half of the lap. And the field just starting to split a little bit towards the front. Delpino maybe starting to apply a little bit of pressure to Sagrera. Then we've got the championship leader Braschi just behind them, and then Jose Garfias in 7th position. That's probably the closest to the battles we've got at the moment. And this is Bruno Delpino looking behind the orange car of Javier Sagrera, hoping to try and make a move, and they split either side of 3 wide into the hairpin. That is going to be really close, and they all run wide now. Who's going to be the beneficiary of that? None of them. They all try. We'll see how that sorts itself out as they sprint uphill. And Francesco Braschi could be the winner here in terms of how they sort themselves out. Frantic stuff as they sprint across the line. The leading duo as was. Oh, and there's contact, and around goes Javier Sagrera. Always a risk it was going to end in tears, and he gets tipped into the spin. We've got the brace and Sagrera fortunately back up and running. The Harley Motorsport driver, he drops all the way down the field. So now we've got essentially the MP Motorsport cars ganging up on the Campos machinery. I don't think Sagrera will have picked up too much damage there through that contact. Another look at it. So this was 3 wide into the hairpin. It's always going to result in a little bit of understeer out wide. So they rejoined into the first turn. It was one of the MP cars who just tagged Sagrera, and that was the 99 car of Jose Garfias. So we'll see if he acquires a penalty as a result of his adventures. All of which, however, is good news for the leading duo, because for Sanapol Vasak and Esteban Masson, it's the opportunity to just begin to put a little bit of daylight over the rest of the field. And you could argue that that's possibly the case as well for Sebastian Ogaard, but then it's the Campos car of Braschi who has fought his way up into 4th position. And then this trio of MP Motorsport runs behind. Delpino, Garfias and Gravlund all in the mix. That was a move, I think, from Nick Gilks on Sebastian Gravlund. We will confirm that momentarily. It was indeed the number 64 car. So Nick Gilks, former race winner in the GB3 category, gains the position and moves up into 7th place. Another fastest lap, meanwhile, from our race leader, who is beginning to put a good advantage, 2.3 seconds now, over Esteban Masson. After a relatively controlled first couple of laps, as we approach the 1/3 race distance, the battle's really coming alive here. Possibly just getting a little bit ragged from a couple of them as well. Darting to the inside, and that is Pingasov, who made the place gained, as still Delpino and Garfias got it wheel to wheel. And all the while, that is allowing Francesco Braschi to begin to ease away a little bit from that scrap. 2 MP Motorsport teammates got it wheel to wheel. See whether that also allows Nick Gilks into the mix, and then Miran Pingasov as well. So on the 5th lap, approaching 1/3 race distance, as they head down that lengthy back straight towards the hairpin at turn 16. Another look at the move. Very well executed. Miran Pingasov gaining the place over Sebastian Gravlund. So the battling MP Motorsport teammates continue much as they were. Nothing between them. Garfias and Delpino, And it's Garfias who is up into 5th position, but you can see as they slow each other down, Nick Gilks, Miron Pingasov, Sebastian Gravlund and William Karlsson all in very close attendance. And this group from 6th through to 11th, nothing to choose between them whatsoever. At the front of the field, it's just a little bit closer than it was, and that's because Esteban Masson set the fastest lap of the race last time around, so he is closing back onto the race leader, and it's about 2.5 seconds back to Sebastian Ogaard. So great fighting all the way through the pack, which is exactly what this EUROCUP-3 category is all about, giving the drivers the opportunity to go wheel to wheel. Oh, and we've got a change of lead, and we've got a problem, I think, for the pole sitter and erstwhile race leader. Tassanapol Inthrapuvasak has dropped down to 3rd position. Sebastian Ogaard goes 2nd. We'll try and pick out what's happened. So Esteban Masson, you can see on the time screen, leads the race. Now, there he is. There is Sebastian Ogaard. And then it's Braschi into 3rd position. Oh, it's a problem, possibly, for the Thai pole sitter, who is unfortunately cruising down the back straight. So disaster there for Tassanapol Inthrapuvasak, who had been going so well in the early stages, but now that puts the onus onto Esteban Masson. Will he be able to break clear as the Campos car, going at cruising speed, will head back into the pit lane? Great pity there. We'll try and find out exactly what's happened. Now Esteban Masson takes control at the front of the field, who raced in Formula Regional last year, but the French Formula 4 champion the year before that with 6 wins to his credit, and now an opportunity to try and streak clear. Into the pit lane comes Inthrapuvasak. The Campos team inspect the car. Very unusual to see mechanical failure with this machinery, as that gets the driver, and that will go down as one that got away. So now Esteban Masson already turning up the wick. Another fastest lap for the Frenchman. 3 seconds his advantage over Sebastian Ogaard. In 3rd position, championship leader Braschi. Then it's Garfias from Del Pino, Nick Gilks, and Pingasov, Sebastian Gravlund, William Karlsson, Esteban Zanfari, and then Javier Sagrera. Being strapped back into the car, so possibly being sent back out to find out exactly what had gone wrong. See in due course. So that frenetic fighting for what's now 4th position just seems to have calmed down a little bit. What's now going to be interesting to keep an eye on is the extent to which Francesco Braschi can start to close in on Sebastian Ogaard, and whether that's going to be possible for him at all. Here, meanwhile, is the fight for 4th. Camera angle foreshortens it a little bit, but not that much, as nobody quite close enough to challenge this time, as they all close up on each other on the brakes. Invisible elastic then extends as they accelerate up through the final couple of turns, and completing their 7th lap of the race. That's a good lap from Esteban Masson. His lead goes out to 3.4 seconds. Sebastian Ogaard has then got a 5-second advantage over Braschi, who in turn has got 2 seconds over Jose Garfias. Thereafter, all bets are off a little bit, and it starts to get much, much closer. So there is Miron Pingasov, one of the 2 Palu Motorsport drivers in the field. The other, unfortunately, is the recovering Javier Sagrera. That sounds like things being switched off. Now here is the end, really, of the drama for Tassanapol Inthrapuvasak, as he moved off the racing line and slowed all the way down the back straight. What we didn't see was where the issue started, but a very frustrated driver, and rightly so, 17-year-old back to the garage. That is a big treat that got away from him. Now he's got a slight frustration, possibly, of seeing his Campos Racing teammate, Esteban Masson, coming through to benefit as they run down the back straight. Breaks into the hairpin. For Sebastian Ogaard there in second position, the key for him, if he can just keep Esteban Masson in sight, then he'll be able to steadily apply the pressure. The 19-year-old Danish driver of the MP Motorsport team, a race winner in the Euro Formula Open last year, and 2021 second in the Spanish Formula 4 Championship. So certainly somebody will be familiar with this Motorland Aragon circuit. Esteban Masson heads out into his 9th lap. 3.3 seconds the gap between the pair of them, and then it's relatively stable from Ogaard back to Braschi. But this is going to be potentially advantageous weekend for Braschi in the championship, because his main rival coming out of Spa, Mari Boyat, really had hoped to compete here at Aragon this weekend. Unfortunately, logistics and the inability to be in two places simultaneously kept him away. So this is a chance for Braschi to notch some points onto his tally. One driver who finished on the podium in both races at Spa, and he may well make it 3 podiums from 3 if things stay as they are. That being a big if. The battle, though, is still very much the one before between Jose Garfias, Pino, and Nick Giltz. There's Sebastian Ogaard. Danish driver still trying to keep in contact as he works through the chicane at turns 14 and 15 into the back straight. That angle makes it look a little bit closer than it is, because the back straight here is best part of the Planche Long. Then you see the battling MP Motorsport teammates in the background, and Garfias and Del Pino just 1.1 seconds apart. Now we've got a problem for Nick Giltz, and that is the problem, that he is in the gravel trap and out of the race, and the Privex competitor stalks away. We saw him tumbling down the timing screens, and that looks he's reached fairly deep in the gravel trap, and it means the safety car has been scrambled. So the safety car comes out with just 12 minutes plus a lap left in the race. Recovery of Nick Giltz. Meanwhile, back in the field, with clear air, Javier Sagrera has just set the fastest lap of the race. So this is going to bunch them all up, and for Esteban Masson, after all that work to build the buffer over Sebastian Ogaard and the rest of the field, it now gets whittled away to effectively nothing. Now, full racing speed, the fastest lap of the race has been a 1 minute 56.6. Say 1 minute 56.4 rather, as we say, set last time by Javier Sagrera. So behind the safety car, we're looking at probably something in the region of a 3-minute lap. So that is going to give them 4 or 5 racing laps only by the time that they do get back up and running. Unfortunately, Nick Giltz's car didn't look like it was too badly damaged, and therefore, fingers crossed, the recovery is going to be reasonably straightforward. There it is. Can't quite see from the context of that picture how he managed to end up there, but you can see the recovery vehicle in the background moving into position. Frustrating for Giltz, who's having a good and competitive race. There's the field streaming past behind the safety car. So this weekend, the second of 8 stops on the calendar for the EUROCUP-3 circus on its first season. From here in a fortnight's time, it is on to Monza, always a very, very popular venue. Then the 15th and 16th of July to Zandvoort, then into the summer break before we reconvene on the 23rd and 24th of September in Jerez, before heading to Estoril just a week later on the 30th of September, 1st of October, then on to the Circuit Ricardo Tormo, just outside Valencia, on the 14th and 15th of October, before the season finishes on the 11th and 12th of November. Circuit Barcelona Catalunya, Romeo. So there is an awful lot of racing to go. The season's still very young. So the mechanics will, or rather the marshals, will winch away the Gilt's car. So a race with a few casualties. But this probably the best moment of the race so far in terms of wheel-to-wheel the action. 3 wide into the bottom hairpin. Absolutely brilliant stuff, but so frustrating for Javier Sagrera. Punched into the spin. May, however, get the point for fastest lap, which will be some sort of consolation. Really good wheel-to-wheel action. This Motorland Aragon circuit always produces good racing, but also provides a real test and challenge for the drivers as well. Mix of corners, of undulation as well. You can see the back all backed up, running line the stern, so this could give an opportunity for the certainly Javier Sagrera, 10th position. He's got a point to prove, and now he lost that spin to the field, being closed up. 3rd position, Francesco Braschi may well be able to make ground, could give Sebastian Ogaard a chance to jump into the lead as well. In terms of the rookie class, that is currently headed by Bruno Del Pino from Sebastian Gravlund and William Karlsson. So all the while, of course, the clock ticking down, just 8 minutes plus 1 lap to go. Weaving around, retaining the heat in those Hankook tyres. Drivers having to maintain the concentration at this point, looking for a signal whether or not the safety car will be coming in at the end of this lap, or they'll have another lap. Behind the safety car heading into the back straight. This is the point we would see, and it is going to be the final lap behind the safety car. The lights go out, so now already Esteban Masson backing off the pace, weaving along the back straight, getting as much warmth into those Hankook tyres as possible. We want to be doing these nice progressive turns of the wheel. That's what really keeps the heat in. Anything that's a bit more zigzaggy than that can be a bit more for show than for actual effect. Watching the background there, the car at the very back of the queue on the motorsport car of Javier Sagrera. What can he do from 10th position? Now Esteban Masson, imagine, will pull the pin here as soon as he comes out of the hairpin, accelerating up the hill. But can Sebastian Ogaard, that's the orange car in 2nd place, Francesco Braschi, the white car in 3rd, the championship leader, stay with him. We'll see. It's going to be really entertaining final few laps here at the Motorland Aragon, as away we go. And Masson brings them up to speed. Jose Garfias, who looked pretty racy there in 4th position. He is chasing Francesco Braschi. Esteban Masson leads into the first turn. Sebastian Ogaard maintains 2nd, but doesn't really apply any pressure to the race leader. Braschi and Garfias, 3rd and 4th, and a little bit of daylight back. Bruno Del Pino and Sebastian Gravlund with the rest of the queue behind. Javier Sagrera, meanwhile, has peeled into the pit lane. So, much my suggestion of a charge late on. Ready almost to clear of Ogaard, and then the rest of the field running in very close contention to each other. Fingers off. We're in the 9th position. Chasing Safari, William Karlsson. Yes, turn 10 into the 2nd half of the lap. Rest of the hill, and another 10th turn favour. Esteban Masson. Now here comes Francesco Braschi. He's just 2nd back from Sebastian Ogaard. Jose Garfias a further 6/10 back. Then Bruno Del Pino could be for exit on the chicane. Not the opening Sunday. Meanwhile, there is Javier Sagrera. rating for the 19-year-old Spaniard. Last season racing in Great Britain, the GP3 Championship. There is the field, they make a great slide, running, nose to tail. Well, it's the race leader, Esteban Masson, who is just a little bit of daylight. Meanwhile, his defensive move there from Motorland Aragon, just to cover any attack. Stop. Once able to get through, that defensive move was probably going to be sufficient. Most of the cars still there in 9th place. No change in the order, but there you can see the red ring on 5. And big stop below the tail of Motorland Aragon, the driver. He spent the match from the championship last year. Tries to ride the 16-year-old who finished 18th in the championship last year. As they battle with each other, you can see the tail opening up as a result to William Karlsson. Always the challenge, isn't it? As soon as you start battling with each other, then you lose track of the cars in front of Karlsson. Cars, a little bit to play with in 7th position. Now, here is the battle for 2nd place, and I would argue that Ogaard and Braschi is appreciably closer to Sebastian Ogaard than he's bringing. Yes, and Sebastian Gravlund with him for company, so we could yet see a change of the podium later on as they swoop downhill onto the back straight. Camera angle a little bit deceiving, but compared to a lap ago, Braschi appreciably closer. The timing screen's just the same. Sebastian Ogaard can see him larger in his mirrors. That's a little bit of a weave. Just quickly comes off the inside line. There's no way she's going to be close enough on this occasion. Dead. Just holds his line. Maybe hopes there's an error from Ogaard, but instead it's really about the exit from the hairpin. Climb up the hill. Yes, definitely in the mix as well. If they come, then this rapid forward 2nd position. The car of Francesco Braschi, the Campos starts, damaged by the blue origin motorsport. This lap plus 2 more to go. A little bit of a twitch there at the tail there from Ogaard and Braschi. Now whether that costs a little bit of time to Francesco Braschi, we'll see. Possibly brings Bruno Sebastian Gravlund into the mix as well. We'll find out in moments 5. It's my Masson now 2.3 seconds up from Sebastian Ogaard. He's the race leader. This time around, close Ogaard as he was for anything. It's Ogaard, yes, who's a little bit closer. The class leader with Sebastian Gravlund just behind him. Battles on the one for lead. He's got some conclusively tools again down the back straight. Snowblower moving across into the middle of the road. Through that. Where she had the legs of Ogaard, always actually looking out. It's an advantage. Then towards the end of the lap. Race. So Braschi is the state of his own cultural wing. Ahead. First, in 19th state. The car race guides towards Braschi. The hard work. Yes, can't quite do it as they head out onto the back straight. Multiple time again, Sebastian Gravlund moves across the covers a little bit to the inside line, but he can urge that Braschi is not close enough. Braschi's right below his gap. But yes, in as though through the hairpin. Up the hill once more. And on that is the third race of the EUROCUP. He's been once more. Meanwhile, for Esteban Masson, after inherited the lead mid-race, it has thereafter been comfortable for him. He did everything just right after the safety car period, setting the fast lap for the race last time around. That will net him an extra point in the championship. Unless Ogaard makes a mistake, I'd venture that Francesco Braschi is not going to be close enough to challenge. The best opportunity will be to apply the pressure and through the sequence of corners now onto the back stretch. He was coming onto the straight there, he's just shy of 8/10 adrift, and that is no way going to draw him close enough to challenge. The hairpin for the final time. We have got 1 second penalty for Sebastian Gravlund for track limit issues. Otherwise, I think the order should be pretty much as we see it, as Esteban Masson already accelerating uphill. He is poised to take victory, and he does his maiden victory in the EUROCUP-3 Championship. Sebastian Ogaard, a great drive from him to take second, and Francesco Braschi third place, continuing his continuous run. The rostrum finishes with Jose Carvallas in fourth, fifth to Bruno Del Pino, who, as a result, takes the rookie classification with Sebastian Gravlund and Motorland Aragon rounding out the rookie podium. So a really entertaining race around the Motorland Aragon. Some absolutely great battles, and for Esteban Masson, a very, very assured performance. They will have enjoyed that. So Campos Racing, successful day for them. It means that it's now 2 victories this season to Campos, 1 for MP Motorsport. But there is still a second race, of course, to come this weekend. We will be able to join us for that around lunchtime tomorrow. The warm-up lap is due to get underway at 1 o'clock Central European time, midday if you're watching in the UK. The drivers will be out to qualify tomorrow morning to set the grid for that race. For now, it's the drive back round to the pit lane and the podium. And the podium ceremonies, and so a very clean race, with the exception of that contact that pitched Javier Sagrera into the spin. But the motorsport driver showing a great deal of pace, and he will be hoping for a good qualifying session tomorrow and looking to have a more enjoyable afternoon. A really fine performance from Sebastian Ogaard to take that second position under an awful lot of pressure. And it could be really, really tricky when you've got the car behind filling your mirrors. You know that they're there. You know that it's very easy to be lulled into driving overly defensively, preemptively covering the inside line. And by doing that, you slow yourself down and it makes it much easier for your rival. And actually, the mental discipline just to stick to the racing line, effectively ignore the cars behind you, it takes some doing. But that is the point of a championship like Euro Cup 3. It teaches the drivers how to get the very best out of their machinery. It teaches them how to step up their racecraft as they move on to more powerful machinery, taking that step out of Formula 4. And we have seen that today with some
Yes, boy. Top man.
Tranquila te veo. Sí, también yo. Y yo pensando yo que te echaba también. Está todo el mundo con solo un juego. Dame el micrófono. Aquí hay que dar.
Bravo. Good job. Thank you. Top job, mate.
Bueno, al menos peor. Izquierda para uno.
Esteban, congratulations. You was pushing from the beginning and you achieved the win. What do you think?
Yeah, super happy about the win today. Obviously, Tas didn't have luck today, so I don't really know what happened. But he was quite quick today. But yeah, I took the opportunity. Beginning of the race, I managed to beat my gap because I didn't pass him into one. Yeah, so managed, and when I get the opportunity, I pushed till the end. So yeah, quite happy. Car was really good, so I want to thank the whole team. We did a mega job today, so really happy.
Good luck for tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you.
Pero un tercero.
Esteban Masson. Chance to look back on some of the highlights of the race and the dramatic mid-race retirement of the pole sitter and early race leader to Sanopol Inthrapuvasak. Then we had the safety car when Nick Gilks was into retirement. As we got underway, Esteban Masson was able to break clear and take his first victory in the EUROCUP-3. Leading home Sebastian Ogaard and Francesco Braschi. So really enjoyable race with Bruno Del Pino taking the rookie honours as well. So the drivers making their way up to the podium. Just a reminder that we will be back at green flag lap 1 o'clock Central European time tomorrow midday in the United Kingdom. If you're watching from there, our coverage will start a few minutes before then. The drivers have got free practice and qualifying tomorrow morning to make sure that they have got fully to grips with any changes they decide to make to their cars overnight. Francesco Braschi, Sebastian Ogaard onto the podium. And race winner Esteban Masson for Campos Racing and France. It's been a good day for Campos. They were victorious in the Spanish Formula 4 races earlier on, and now they have claimed victory in the opening EuroCup-3 race of the weekend. Winning team trophy presented to applause from the pit lane. Francesco Braschi, first, second and third place finishes in the opening trio of races for the year, so he maintains a solid championship lead. For Sebastian Ogaard, really fine performance from the Danish driver. He had one win last year in the Euro Formula Open, 5 wins the year before that in Spanish Formula 4, and he will be pleased to be back on the podium. And victory for Esteban Masson, 2021 French Formula 4 champion, back to winning ways and on the top step of the podium. The French national anthem salutes Esteban Masson, winner of the opening EuroCup-3 race of the weekend here at the Motorland Aragon. As the drivers pose for photographs on the rostrum. Perhaps unsurprisingly, one smile broader than the others. They will make merry with the champagne, celebrating. Francesco Braschi perhaps having the good sense to run away, as Esteban Masson celebrates on the rostrum. They soak their Campos Racing team representative Sebastian Ogaard looks to join in as well. We will turn our attention momentarily to the rookie podium. And the rookie race was equally entertaining. Some really keenly fought battles in the midfield. And Bruno Del Pino, very pleased with his afternoon's work, onto the rostrum. The man Zanfari, absolutely overjoyed with his third place.
Sebastian Gravlund.
Cheers from the pit lane, and rightly so. Bruno Del Pino was really in the mix. Had things fallen differently, he could well have been in with a shake of the podium. He will have the opportunity to do that again tomorrow. The rookie podium drivers bask in the applause from the pit lane. Bruno Del Pino, Sebastian Gravlund, and Suleiman Zanfari. They'll post for photos, and it means it's time for us to say thank you for joining us today here at the Motorland Aragon, the third EUROCUP-3 race of the season. We'll be back tomorrow just before 1 o'clock Central European time for the second race of the weekend. We hope that you're able to join us then. Until then, it's goodbye from the Motorland Aragon.
Pues esta ha sido la cerramos así, ponemos punto final.